Hello friends, welcome back to International Courtyard. Today we have a special guest, Shashrvat Singh, who will enlighten us about Quad or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. Now over to you, Shashrvat.
Hello friends, I am Shashrvat Singh and as told by Shambhavi, today we are going to discuss about Quad or the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. We will look at its background or creation, history, relations and my analysis about it. Quad, also known as the Quadrilateral Dialogue, is a semi-alliance consisting of the USA, Australia, India and Japan. The Quad's main objectives are to improve diplomatic relations between the member nations, strengthen their economic partnerships, and overall cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region. It was first created in 2007 when the Prime Minister of Japan at that time, Shinzo Abe, recognized the importance of a quadrilateral dialogue with four major democracies of the world, namely USA, India, Japan, and Australia, and facilitated their meeting in Manila, Philippines in 2007. The joint secretaries of all these nations attended the meeting. Their first move was the Malabar naval exercise in the Bay of Bengal, that is in the backyard of India. At that time, head of the states of these countries were Prime Minister John Howard from Australia, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh from India, President George W. Bush from the US, and as mentioned, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe from Japan. China was threatened as the Bay was very close to China and it perceived this new alliance as a strategy to contain its growing economic and military influence, especially in the Indo-Pacific region. Since China traded a lot with Australia and took coal, iron ore, wine, etc. in and gave money to them, they threatened Australia indirectly that they will not trade with them. Around this time, the Australian elections took place and John Howard was replaced by Kevin Rudd as the Prime Minister in December 2007. Now you see, Mr. Kevin thought that Quad wasn't important and China was more important. So he said that Australia is pulling out of Quad. Then India realized this too, and Manmohan Singh, on his trip to China, said that they were also going to pull out of Quad. Because of this, the Quad virtually fell apart. In 2017, Shinzo Abe again called a meeting with the hope that Australia will not pull out this time. Senior officials from all the four countries met in Manila on the sidelines of ASEAN and East Asia summits. The meeting in Manila was primarily the result of renewed interest in Tokyo and reciprocal interest in New Delhi, Canberra, and Washington, with the Japanese delegation sharing the meeting. Until now, nobody has left the semi-alliance. They again did the Malabar naval exercise in November 2020. Most people think that the reason why Quad was formed was to counter China's rising power. They are semi-correct as all of China's neighbors except Pakistan are annoyed since China is claiming their land. But not even one country from Quad has said that. Now, let's look at their relations with China. Japan was the oldest enemy of China. They had a direct conflict in the First and Second Sino-Japanese War. They were on opposite sides in the Cold War. 85% of Japanese population hates China and 75% of Chinese population hates them back. Despite all of that, Japan is the third largest trading partner of China and China is the largest trading partner of Japan. India was an old ally of China and immediately recognized the Communist Party. But when China betrayed India and attacked India, which led to the Sino-Indian War of 1962, since then, relations between India and China haven't normalized completely again, and there was recently a major standoff between the armies of both the nations in Ladakh, which led to casualties on both sides. Then, China is also a friend of Pakistan, who is a big rival of India. Recently, India banned 267 Chinese apps in 2020 after there were reports of China using these apps for spying. India is the 11th largest trading partner of China and China is the largest trading partner of India. The US had good relations with China, but when China turned communist, it was time of the Cold War, and the US did not like that. Both countries have big spheres of influence. US is the largest trading partner of China, and China is the largest trader of the US. But China's overgrowing influence in the world using unethical practices has made China lose USA's trust, especially after the COVID pandemic, for which USA fully blames China and China is resisting any investigation by international bodies for finding the true place and cause of the origin of the pandemic. Recently, the Trump administration, just before completing its tenure, declassified its US strategic framework for the Indo-Pacific, in which USA intends to support India through diplomatic, military, and intelligence channels to help address continental challenges like the border dispute with China. Hence, it can be easily predicted that USA-China relations are far from any improvement in the foreseeable future. Australia established diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China in 1972. The Australia-China bilateral relationship was based on strong economic and trade complementaries and covered a wide range of mutual interests. Even though China is the biggest trading partner of Australia, relations deteriorated in 2018 when people, including the government, said that China was trying to get Australia on their side by giving money and trading. Recently, relations of Australia and China have deteriorated further as exemplified by Scott Morrison, the current Australian PM's warning about its people about a significant increase in cyber attacks and an announcement of a dramatic jump in defense spending focused on the Indo-Pacific region. Though the Australian PM didn't name China while announcing these moves, but government officials said they came in response to Beijing's threatening actions. Friends, to understand Quad's importance, it is very important to understand the Indo-Pacific region, the Indo-Pacific region is very strategic, since many countries find the region the easiest way of trading, and there are a lot of resources in the region. In fact, this region has emerged as the hub of global trade and energy supply. The 2/3 of the container trade of the world passes through this region. Besides, two choke points, Bab al-Mandeb and the Malacca Strait, are located on either side of the Indo-Pacific. The region is also the home of more than 50% of the global population and rich in mineral and marine resources. A dispute has been going on in the South China Sea between 7 countries because of the resources there. Friends, if you closely observe the composition of Quad, its relations with China, and the circumstances which led to its formation, you will realize that Quad's objectives are to stop the spread of China's influence, to counter its expansionist overtures, and to stop China's hegemonic ideas. For example, in 2010, China gave millions of money to Tajikistan and said if not returned, they will have to give some of its land to them. Since Tajikistan did not have the money to pay back, they had to give 1,137 square kilometers of its land to China. Similarly, China took over the Hambantota port of Sri Lanka after Sri Lanka failed to repay its debt to China. This is a policy known as debt trap, initially created by European empires, now being followed relentlessly by China. Friends, as per my view, Quad is very important, a geostrategic and political association as it combines countries exceeding in economic, military, technological, and geostrategical forces. As America's incredible economy and military forces, India's humongous military, large amounts of manpower and information technology human resource, Japan's highly advanced technology, and Australia's strategic position in both the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It also restrains China's expansionist ideas in the Indo-Pacific region. Hence, this alliance, if works well in the future, will be beneficial not only for the Indo-Pacific region but also the peace and strengthening of democratic values in today's changing world. It will also be interesting to see further development of Quad and how an irritated China responds to these developments. Not to mention, we will also be keeping a tab on these developments and discuss with all of you. Friends, thank you for watching this video and kindly give your valuable feedback in the comment section below.